Well, besides some of us kind of looking like ghosts because of the light outside, the natural daylight, we usually do this at night when it's completely dark out already. So this is a little bit different, but we're here and we got a couple games to recap, as well as some off ice news regarding the team, and then just some general WHL news that we'll get into as well. So first of all, how are the boys doing? TC, we know you're working right now.
Yeah, working from home.
Best place to work from.
You're not kidding, man. You're not kidding.
How are you doing, Cappy?
I'm Gucci.
Gucci?
I'm Gucci.
Right on. Cat
And
wants to
you?
say hi real quick.
And how are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. Just got off work a little bit ago and ready to recap some Chiefs hockey with the boys while I watch some of this NHL Frozen Frenzy that started about half an hour ago.
I have it on here too.
Yeah, got
Yeah,
Calgary up 1-0 on Toronto already.
yeah, I'll be throwing that on in a little bit and watching the
Yeah.
Hawks at 5:45. So,
hmm Berkeley Cat and playing Montreal and about 7:30 tonight
well,
with the
maybe,
Kraken.
so
Well, I'm pretty sure he's in the lineup, but
Yeah, he
um,
has
the
been.
Kraken like to do service time manipulation.
I placed a bet on him to get a point tonight, so we'll see.
Hmm.
Did you?
I did.
Oh boy.
Um, so we got the last game of the Eastern trip to recap against Edmonton. So you boys watched that game, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was probably our most complete game of the year so far. I think we played that team really, really well and handed them their first home loss of the season.
That was the best all around game we played, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah, I mean, back and forth both ways, really, really even down the middle in every
Uh,
aspect.
yes.
Carter Essler in net, a nice little bounce back performance for him after getting kind of rocked in Calgary.
Yes.
23 saves in net. He looked great. I mean, I was really hoping he was going to get that shutout, his third shutout of the season, but Edmonton ended up finally getting one past him with about 6.5 to go in the third period. But yeah, just a really, really good overall performance, I thought. A lot of penalties again in the first period, but
That's a weird trend that we're on in our games.
yeah, it really is. Um, Star of the night though, Gavin Burkhardt. I mean, that fourth line was so, so, so good as it has been all year.
And I was going to say, how many times do you lean over to me during a game and say, this fourth line is so good?
Yeah, I mean they were dialed in. I mean they just do all the little things right, and it doesn't
They
matter
do.
if you take Kaslo Ferner in or out or put Buckley in there or Ethan Hughes. I mean they all fit in and play that similar style, and it works
They
with
remind you of the fourth line last year. It was the same way.
with the skill and speed that Burkhardt and Ozzie McIntyre have. I mean it just kind of really gels well together. The hustle and forecheck of everybody involved on that line.
Yes. Hustle.
Um,
That's a good word to use.
Hustle, yeah. I mean, that's Gavin Burkhardt's second goal of the year was just a beauty.
Yeah.
A nice little breakout pass and from Ethan Hughes right on the tape, and he walks in on a breakaway and throws the dangles on and goes backhand on Simcoe for his second of the year. I mean, that goal was disgusting. And I feel like Gavin Burkhardt's a player that's for me is getting better and better every game.
He is. He's finally getting noticed. Feel a lot of people talk about him now too. Being a newcomer, he was kind of lost in all the talk.
100%. I really think that it's time for them to move him up to a higher another line. I mean,
He's earned it.
I think he's too good for that fourth line. And granted, I'm saying, the fourth line has been so good all year. But man, that Gavin Burkhardt, I think he's a guy I think he could play second line center
I
and
do
and
too.
fit in well with, Owen Martin
I
and
think you'll see
Sammy
him
and
there at some point.
yeah, I mean, it's really going to be interesting to see how they kind of shake down the roster here in the next month or so before Christmas break and
Hmm.
everything because we still got a lot of guys sitting out. We still have a player on our roster that hasn't played a game yet, and Caden Sasada.
Yeah, I
So
think we're going to see it shake down before Thanksgiving a little bit. Personally.
yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, especially after the game against Everett here on Sunday.
Hmm.
Um, Definitely some things that I think we need to adjust a little bit. Finally did get a power play goal, which is good, but we'll get to that here in a little
Well,
bit.
when you have a 4-on-3, you should get at least one.
It's true. We'll get to that here in a little bit, but the Chiefs would take a 2-0 or a 1-0 lead into the second intermission, and it would stay that way until about halfway through the third. Chase Harrington gives the Chiefs the insurance goal for his fourth of the year. Right at that point, it looks like all signs pointing to Carter Essler getting his third shutout, but the number one home team in the WHL ain't going to go down quietly, and Blake Fiddler scores his first goal of the year with the wrister from the point. And then Andrew O'Neill ties it up with under 2 minutes to go in the third. So we would go to overtime. Um, it really interesting. It looks like we're going to have, another 3-2 final on the Eastern swing. I think that was like three of the four
Yes.
games were there. Four of the five games were 3-2 finals.
Mm-hmm.
Really interesting how that happened.
It's crazy.
Two shootouts, including this game here against
Mm-hmm.
Edmonton. Carter Essler was perfect in the shootout, and the only goal scorer was Gavin Burkhardt once again getting another goal past Simcoe. So just a simple little wrister. I think the goalie might have been expecting him to put on another move and go backhand again like he did when he scored on him in the first, but kind of came in and just threw a simple saw something and threw it in the corner and ended up securing the Chiefs a 3-2 win and giving them a 500 record on the road or over 500 record on the road
Over,
trip.
yeah.
So I mean, there are some things on that trip that
A,
I thought were really good.
a pretty good showing going through that conference, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. There's some things that obviously I wasn't a fan of, and like the 5-0 shutout to Calgary was not pretty, but
Mm-hmm.
they bounced back nicely in Edmonton, and I think that Carter Essler having that bounce back game was good,
Yeah.
and Gavin Burkhardt kind of starting to show his skills a little bit too.
More
Uh,
good came out of it than negative for sure.
and I think the Chiefs, going home happy with a over 500 record, a winning road trip essentially, and even
And
if you include that game in Seattle before the road trip as
and that
well.
road trip, yeah, being the Eastern swing like that, it's a good way to start your season off. Definitely on the road like that.
100%, 100%.
That's always an
Uh,
unknown in the past.
TC, I know you're working, but do you have any thoughts on the Eastern swing?
I missed a
Sure.
couple of the games. I missed the 5-0 shutout game. Fortunately,
That's a good one to miss.
It was a good one to miss.
I completely spaced out that was happening, and then by the time I realized the game was happening, it was over, and they had lost 5-0. So, don't have any thoughts on that one other than yikes. But the fact that we were able to bounce back and have a winning road trip, I mean, that's really the most important thing, especially when you're playing teams that at the end of the day, for the exception of Seattle when the road trip started, but at the end of the day, what they do standings wise doesn't really affect us at all.
Yeah.
So it's nice to go in there, get some points, get home. It's a long road trip, a lot of time on the bus. You know,
And we
it's
got out of there pretty unscathed as far as injuries and stuff go too. So which is
yeah,
always nice.
yeah, and then there's the you hope for some team bonding, have gone down with all that time on the bus, playing cards, listening to music, doing whatever they do. Um, and then you come home and hope to have a better showing than you had on Sunday, but especially with a few days off in between getting home and that game. But Everett's a wagon, so we can get into
Yeah,
that.
I think a little too much of a time off, in my opinion, for that one too. I don't think weren't ready for that at all.
Yeah, and Everett had played the night previously and had just gotten smoked by Penticton, so
Yeah,
they were
Yeah.
they were out for blood and it showed.
Once I saw that they got shelled 7-0, I was like, man, we're gonna get our asses kicked just because
yes,
that Everett's a team that doesn't lose on home ice very often, especially that bad. And so when
Mhm.
they get embarrassed on their home ice like that, it's gonna light a fire under their ass. And I mean, I thought Everett looked really good.
they did.
Um,
I did
and
too.
and that showed in the first 3 minutes of the game when they scored two goals. That second goal they scored was just beautiful. I mean, that was a great passing play, and the guy made a great move on Essler, who had no chance. I mean, our defense didn't show up for the first 5 minutes of the game. I think after that flurry in the first 5 minutes, I think the Chiefs pretty much controlled the rest of the first period.
I agree
Just
with that.
weren't able to find the back of the net. obviously Everett's another one of those teams that has just
Goalie.
star goaltending all the time,
Hmm.
and Raiden Legal played great. But yeah, I mean the Chiefs. It was 6-0 shots in favor of Everett at one point, and then I think at the end of the period it was 13-7. Let's see what it was
Yes.
here.
It was
Yeah,
something like
thirteen to
that.
seven. It was 13-7 after the end of the first. So we pretty much shut them down defensively after that for that period. But like I said, unfortunately, just couldn't find the back of the net. Um, Chiefs did have some power play chances in the first period as well, and unfortunately weren't able to score on any of them. But not really a shock there, unfortunately, as much
Yeah.
as I'd like to say differently. But um, yeah, so 2-0 Everett going in early in the second period. Nolan Saunderson getting his first career WHL goal, a nice shot from the point that just found its way through. It looks like the Chiefs, right back in the game, have some life.
2-1.
A 1 goal game. Yeah, 2 minutes into the second period, and then Everett just does what they do best, and they come right back out in the ensuing faceoff and score another one to take the 2 goal lead back, and then a minute later they would get another insurance goal, and it would be just like that. It's 4-1, and I think from there the Chiefs really kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Um,
They did. They were caught off guard, I think, from the get-go. I think I was surprised they hung on as long as they did to make it only 2-1 up
Yeah,
until that point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, you look at the scoreboard and like this, shots on goal pretty even. Everything's pretty even except for the score in this game, but I feel like the
Hmm.
the play on the ice was a pretty telltale sign that
Yes.
we were just not in it.
I feel like if you're there in person watching, you saw that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we were just not in it from, halfway through the second period on. I mean, it was pretty much all Everett after they scored those 2 goals right after Saunderson scored. But they would get another insurance goal on the power play to make it 5-2 or 5-1 after two. And the Chiefs would get a handful of power play opportunities in the third period. I feel like, third period, we kind of woke up a little bit more too for at least the first half of it.
A
And
little
then
bit.
and
Nothing to
then
show for it, but yes.
and then from that point on, it was just Everett playing their trap defense and shutting us down
Hmm.
completely, just dump chase and run the clock out. And Rhett
Old time
Sather,
Everett hockey.
exactly. Rhett Sather did get his second goal of the year on the power play. Once again, just another simple wrister from the point that found its way through traffic and beat Raiden Legal. So, 5-2. It's nice to see a young defenseman getting in on the scoring too. But these are the kinds of games where, your team doesn't show up for the most part, but you need your top guys to be your top guys in these kinds of games too, to give you
I agree with that.
any sort of chance at, being competitive in the game. And our top lines just didn't show up. And I mean, I want to say there was only a handful of players that I really noticed on the ice on
Hmm.
Sunday, and those guys are Brody Gillespie and Sarkinov, and then the entire fourth line I thought was fantastic again.
I agree with that.
Kaslo Ferner, Gavin Burkhardt, Ozzie McIntyre. I think every single shift I noticed those guys out there
Yeah.
making an impact. But other than those guys, I didn't really notice anything too good from any of our forwards.
No, I didn't either. I didn't either. And I think I made some comment to you during the game. I don't remember what comment I made about we looked, it's the first time we've really looked bad all around. I felt like,
Yeah, I thought so too. Even in that Calgary game where we got shut out, we had good chances, and I think
hmm
there was a lot of time where we, looked like we were competing in the game, just weren't able to score. But that for some reason that Everett game, it just like they just drained the life out of our team very quickly.
hmm
And the thing that sucks is that it's not going to get any easier from here. You got
no.
Saskatoon coming in tomorrow
And then,
night, and then
then them
Everett
again.
once again this
Yeah.
weekend. So it's not going to get any easier too. So it's just going to be a matter of adjusting to playing
Yeah.
Everett against Everett. I mean, Everett's a team that's always given us fits too.
They have.
But
They
yeah, I got
have.
Saskatoon coming in.
And I made a comment to you during game too that I don't about I just had my thought, but it's gone now. It happens.
Brain
It
injury.
happens. And brain injury. I'm going to blame on the brain injury. Yes. Concussion
Yeah.
protocol for me. Um, they I feel like I think I told you during the game. I feel like it's not a bad thing for us to get our asses kicked. I feel like it's a good time for it to happen.
Realistically,
A
yes.
little humble pie for
Yeah.
sure.
Realistically, yeah. But I think I think
I think it
this,
points out some things that need to change and be different, whether personnel
yeah.
wise or how or some systems on the on the team on the power play that's so dismal right now and things like that too. I feel like it's a little bit of a wake up call.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of if they can get these guys to adjust to that style
Yeah, it's
and
not the
learn
same
from the
old stuff.
mistakes. Yeah,
Yes,
they got to learn from the mistakes and
it's not continuing to do the same things and thinking you're going to have success from it. Something's got to change.
exactly. And yeah, like I said, we need our top guys to be our top guys. Obviously, we still have
Hmm.
Berkeley Catton up in the NHL, so he's a guy who's not making any impact on the team at the moment. You need your guys, Owen Martin, Chase Harrington, Mathis Preston, guys like that to show up every game. And I feel like I almost feel like Mathis Preston does a little bit too much out there sometimes.
Yeah, well,
He
you and I
does.
talk about it sitting in the stands watching that.
Love the kid, love watching him play. I think he
Me
tries to
too.
do a little bit too much. And I think
Simple.
yeah, he needs to try to start simplifying it a little bit more.
Hmm.
And like I said to you, I saw him miss a handful of one-timers wide open in the Ovi circle
Hmm.
on the power play. Man, if he could find a way to hit those on net, I mean, that's a goal 9 times out of 10. But I feel like 1 out of 10 are the ones that go in.
Exactly. Yeah, he
Well,
still seems a little raw out there for whatever reason. Where he was starting the year and looked like he had kind of settled in,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's wanting it more and feeling like he having the weight of the team on your back a little bit and being that guy and not able to do it yet or have the experience to pull it all off. I don't know. Like you said at the beginning of the season too. I still feel like we could benefit from having another overage guy on the team somewhere.
Yeah.
I think Preston is just he's thinking more than he's playing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He probably realizes that for them to win games offensively, he needs to produce, especially since we're missing Catton and a lot of the guys that we had last year have either moved on or whatever. And so now all of a sudden, being the best offensive player has fallen into his lap. And maybe development wise, he's not, or mental game wise, he's not quite ready for that yet. I mean, the talent's there. I mean, everyone says he's going to be a top 15 pick in the NHL, and I mean, hard not to see it. Maybe, yeah, he's struggling with the mental side of the game right now, having to feel like he has to be the one to put the puck in the back of the net. I mean, when you whiff on that many one-timers, he's obviously he's thinking about it a lot. And another thing too, I've noticed with him is he likes to do the frantic stick tap on the ice to call for
Mhm.
a pass. And I think that's so there's a time and a place for that. He does it a lot though. And
Yeah.
maybe this is just like a nitpicky thing, but when you start doing that and you're begging for the pass, you're begging for the pass, you're putting your teammate in a weird spot because now they know that okay, you're open or you at least perceive that you think you're open, and then so all of a sudden now because you're tapping your stick and yelling at them, they need to rush a pass or do whatever it
Right.
is that they need to do to get you the puck. And majority of the time lately, that's resulting in either A, he's whiffing on it, or B, the pass just doesn't get to him.
Mhm.
And so I think that, maybe they've had this conversation internally, but I personally think he needs to cut back on that stick tapping frantically
Mhm.
on the ice, begging
Yeah.
for passes. It just throws off the rhythm, I think.
I agree. That's
And there's aspects to that. So
Let's leave this stick tapping to Sarkanoff when he's frustrated that he's not getting passes. We
yeah,
we
that
saw that a
he
lot.
was pissed.
He was
Yeah.
mad. He was ticked off
He was wide open in front of the net, slamming his stick as he
so
comes
many
off the
times.
ice. And you love to see that passion though from
I
a
do.
guy. He's frustrated. Sarknov's frustrated. It's the first game that he's been able to play. And
Exactly.
but yeah, I mean it's you never know. To add on to that thought about Preston too, I think that that's a little bit of, I don't necessarily want to say immaturity, but lack of experience too,
Yes.
in a way. And I think kind of tying all those points together, getting another veteran guy in there and potentially getting Berkeley Catton back at some point will be a huge calming presence for a guy
Settle them
like
down.
Preston.
Yes.
We saw when Berkeley Catton was 17, they brought in Connor Roulette to kind of
Took
play
yes.
that role. And now it's Berkeley Catton's turn to play
It's
that
his
role
turn.
for
I
Preston.
I agree with that.
And I think the lack of, veteran WHL players on this roster, other than, obviously the 17, 18-year-olds that we have now, like, 19, 20-year-olds, playing a huge part in that. So I think he'll settle down. I don't think it's going to be like this all year.
Yeah,
I
I'm not.
agree.
And you also got to take into account that this is his draft year, and him being a highly touted NHL
Mm-hmm.
first round prospect.
A lot of attention.
He's getting a lot of attention. He's getting a lot of, media coverage and all this stuff too. So he wants to go out there and prove himself. But I feel like it's almost him doing a little bit too much. And like I said, as the year goes along, I think it'll get better. It's not going to be like that the whole season, but I think getting a veteran guy or getting Berkeley Catton back is going to make a huge difference in his game.
Yeah, I agree. And we haven't had that problem in the past. We've always had a couple veteran guys that can keep everybody kind of in check and
Yeah,
things too.
exactly.
This is
It-
something new to have a bunch of young talent only.
yeah, no, exactly. So it's again, we say it every week. It's still early in the year. We're only a month into the season.
And I
Don't need
feel
to
like
press the
this might
panic
just
button.
continue too. We've talked about it a little bit too with the everybody going back and playing college hockey and stuff. Some of these guys will be older guys that could play on teams. I think
Yeah.
everybody's probably suffering from that a little bit. And you and I talked a little bit on the phone today too about how it seems to be backsliding. We got guys coming back to the WHL now from college.
Yeah. Yeah, that was an interesting thing that I read today.
Yes.
Rylan Gould decommitting from Michigan Tech and coming and got traded to the Everett Silvertips. So that's another 20-year-old that Everett has that with a
Mm-hmm.
ton of WHL experience, played with Swift Current the last couple of years and left this past offseason to go to Michigan Tech, and he decommitted and now he got traded to Everett. So
Maybe that's going to be the new trend is these guys coming back and getting some older guys with some experience and more maturity.
yeah, really interesting. I had that article pulled up here. Everett and Swift Current exchanging a
Yeah, that was
trade.
crazy.
Everett acquires Ryland Gould from Swift Current. Oh, this is completing a reworked trade from May 8th. Everett will send a 2026 conditional first round pick and the rights to 2009 born forward Damon Vanderberg to Swift Current. Ryland Gould posted 29 goals and 37 assists in 60 games last season for Swift Current. In his 4-year WHL career, he has 258 regular season games under his belt with
A
57
lot of
goals
games.
and 94 assists. So, um,
You're not going to get that in the NCAA.
this is really interesting. I didn't realize that this was part of that trade. The Silvertips and Broncos had originally agreed to trade for him on May 8th, which was restructured on July 1st when he announced his intent to attend Michigan Tech in the fall. Everett traded prospect Casey Gleim, originally included in the trade, and their second round import draft pick for Swift Current's second round import draft pick, which the Silvertips used on defenseman Jacob Seidel. Gould has now decommitted from Michigan Tech after 6 games played and is expected to join the Silvertips next week. So, yeah, really interesting stuff there. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see if that's going to be kind of a trickle down effect.
I think you're going to see more teams do that kind of stuff because I feel like the college stuff isn't necessarily turning out for some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting, and like that's the first instance that I've seen of this
Mm-hmm.
happening with guys decommitting from these NCAA schools. But I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard rumors all year that it's it's there's a possibility out there that some of these guys are gonna do
Mm-hmm.
that, and you got to think about how different NCAA is from um, major junior. I mean, there's so many drastic differences in the game that some guys just aren't fit for.
And I feel like Boiler talked about this a little bit last spring when we first talked to him about this too, that this kind of stuff could start happening.
There's a lot of precedents in other sports of these like NIL deals and stuff like that falling through or not being
Mm-hmm.
Right.
exactly what players thought they were going to get. So it's possible that maybe some promises aren't that are being made are not being kept, and maybe or maybe he thought he was going to have some level of ice time, and nope, nope, they've stashed me on the fourth line. Well, guess what? In the NCAA, you only play twice a week. So
Right.
if you're on the fourth line, you're only getting 7, 8 minutes a game. You're only getting 16 minutes a week.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, your hopes of being scouted or continuing your hockey career all of a sudden don't look as great.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the dub and playing for, on the top line or second line, playing 20, 25 minutes, all of a sudden looks a lot better.
Minutes and games. What did you say this Gold guy was getting 250 some games, Ellis?
258 regular season games in the WHL and over his
That's a lot
career.
of experience
He's 20-year-old this year, so he's a 20-year-old getting added to Everett's roster, and
with a lot of
yeah,
experience.
with a lot of experience. And I mean, that's just a guy that I wouldn't be shocked to see something like this happen again in the near future.
No, me either.
That's a good point. They only play twice a week in the NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, with some guys that made the switch from the CHL, they're going to be like, wow, I'm not playing. I feel like I'm not playing very
I'm
much.
not
And,
playing. Yeah.
regardless of whether you're playing first line or
I played
not.
2 games. Yeah, I played 2 games, but I only played 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, it's maybe some guys just like that grindy schedule and it helps them get ready for their pro careers
I
too.
think it's what they're used to because even in lower levels, Pee Wee and stuff, those kids are playing a lot of hockey.
Yeah. So that's a lot of guys I'm sure like the grindy style of
There's
junior
probably a little
hockey.
bit of boredom to it for a lot of these kids.
100%. Yeah. Something they're not used to for sure. But yeah, really interesting stuff today. There's another thing that I wanted to kind of touch on a little bit that is just obviously something to think about, probably wishful thinking. But there's a post in the Chiefs group the other day um, about Sage Weinstein. Did you
I
see
saw that.
this?
I did.
Colorado Eagles have played 6 games this season, and Sage has yet to play. At last look, they still have 10 D-men on their roster. I wonder if it's in the cards for him to come back, and
And
that's
he
why
was
we
the
only have one
and
20-year-old on the
and
roster.
he was the 10th guy, is according to what that article said too, if I remember correctly too. So 9 guys are typically he's the odd man out, so to speak.
And yes, he can go to the ECHL, I believe. I
Mm-hmm.
believe he can go to the ECHL, but I wonder if,
Might not be what Colorado wants.
yeah, I wonder if it's in the cards for him to come back and play like a leadership role on this Chiefs team and kind of build his stuff up right there, and then maybe make the jump straight to the AHL next year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, really, and that could be a reason why we only have one 20-year-old currently too.
Something behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that I hadn't really thought of, but looking and seeing that he's, hasn't played it all suited up for him all year, and it really makes you wonder if that's a possibility.
Right. What's the point at that point? Yeah.
Then why aren't they sending him back then? Because what's the point of him not playing? I
Right.
know obviously there's, you want to have a taxi squad or black aces for injuries or and whatnot, healthy scratches. If you are a 19 or 20-year-old defenseman and you are NHL property, in this case, the Colorado Avalanche, wouldn't you want your guy getting ice time?
I would.
Absolutely.
If the Colorado Eagles are just going to have him sit in the press box, that doesn't do anyone any good.
Yeah, I agree. And and
And
and
this is keep in mind, this is the AHL we're talking about. There's career journeyman AHL players that are in their 30s, grown ass men
yeah,
that's the only level they've played at because they're not good enough for the NHL. All the power to them. That's great hockey that can be playing in those spots. You don't need a 20-year-old defenseman sitting in the press box.
Yeah. You don't need to fill it with the 20-year-old.
And
Exactly.
and yeah, we're looking at this with Chiefs colored glasses, but he's not doing anyone any good.
well, and
And in that,
if I was in management for Colorado, I would say I'd rather have this guy who, we signed without drafting him, just signed him out of first training camp. And I'd want him to go and play a big role on a junior team rather than play, 6 minutes a game every third game on third line pairing in the AHL.
exactly.
That, I mean, I feel like overall it's the same argument that we've made for Catton too, but when he was still sitting out all the time in Seattle, it's like you're going to get more. it's more valuable to have you play that role on a junior team as opposed to playing a very, very minimal role every couple of games in the NHL or AHL or whatever. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it happen. I wouldn't, I don't, I mean, it's obviously not out of the realm of possibility. So something else to kind of think about too and ponder.
I agree. The fact that we have a spot for an older guy makes you wonder if that hasn't been, like you said, purposely done to some degree.
I should ask Boiler about that, see if he knows or if he like has any opinions or anything on it.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting to see, but yeah, I mean that would be awesome, and it would be, I mean it would be huge for this defensive core that we have too.
Could learn from that a lot.
Yeah,
Not
no
just help the
doubt.
team, but the defense could learn from that. I feel like he took on a little bit of a leadership role last year.
Yeah, he was huge for us.
Yeah.
Him and McIsaac on that second defensive pairing were huge last year,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the postseason. They were
Exactly.
fantastic. And Sage is another physical presence on the back end too, who will lay a guy out. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wouldn't be shocked to see it happen at some point.
Be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Last piece of news I have, the roster was announced for Team CHL ahead of the CHL USA Prospects Challenge, including two Spokane Chiefs. Chase
Two.
Harrington and Mathis Preston will both be on the team. Uh, Pretty cool stuff. The second year of the CHL USA Prospect Challenge, and get to see two Chiefs representing the CHL in it. So that's going to be awesome to see.
Yes.
Um,
Pretty big honor for those two guys too.
Trying to see who else we got from the dub here. Chase Harrington, JP Hurlbert from Kamloops, Mathis Preston. That's all it is forwards wise in the WHL. Everything else is the O mainly. Defensively, Ryan Lind, Vancouver, Carson Carroll's a PG, Georgios Pantelis from Brandon, Daxon Rudolph from PA, and then goaltending Harrison Bodiger from Kelowna. So um, that's going to be kind of a fun game to watch, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of talent right there, and cool stuff there. So congrats to those guys for getting a name to the roster. Did you guys see Shea Van Olm scoring his first NCAA goal for Penn
I
State the
did.
other day? Shout
Did.
out.
I did. It was so weird seeing a kid that old wearing a bubble.
I know. It's pretty interesting.
Maybe that's why guys are coming back. They're
I
putting
know
out
I was gonna say
thinking like, oh my God, I can't do this.
maybe they can't get used to
Oh.
it. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well,
But yeah,
that's very cool.
I mean, it's cool for Ulmer. I'm happy to see him having some
Me too.
success.
And Shay, if you
Um,
ever watch this podcast, even though you're not part of the thing, you still owe us an interview too, just so you know.
he does. This is true. This is very true. Um,
I even sacrificed my physical health for that.
I saw, Braden Crampton scored his first goal for Bowling Green the other day
Did
as
he?
well, too. So that's pretty cool. A lot of former Chiefs getting it done in the NCAA. So that's pretty cool to see.
Good to
Nice.
see.
And Catton having some good ice time in the crack. And every time I watch out there, he's making things happen out there on the ice. I'm impressed.
Yeah, Catton playing on that first line with Matty Beniers and Jordan Eberle, and he's picked up a couple assists this year. I mean,
Yeah,
the making some really, really strong plays and making a good case for himself.
I agree.
I think
I didn't expect it.
I didn't either. But I mean, I'm happy to see that for him, and it's awesome to see him having that success.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I really want him to come back still, but
Please,
uh, please
please.
send him back, Seattle. Jared McCann, can you please get healthy and come back to the lineup? Um, so if the Kraken players could stop going down with injuries, that would be awesome. But nonetheless, it's awesome to see, and I think that
It
Catton's gonna
is.
have a great career when his junior career is officially all said and done. He's gonna have a great pro career with Seattle.
Yeah.
So it's pretty awesome to see right now. And they like I said, they play again here in a couple hours, so we'll be able to watch that. That's
I
all I
feel
got.
like I feel like they learned a lot from how they brought Shane Wright along. Maybe a little too early to it. They're being very cautious with Burke and doing it
Yeah.
the right way. I think.
Well, and he fits in out there. I mean, there's still some shifts that I see where he's still kind of looks like a deer in the headlights.
Gun shy. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I think that over time that'll change too. And who knows if we see him again, that would be ideal for Chiefs fans. Maybe not for him, but um,
We're going to get him back on this podcast again this winter.
yeah, I think I'm gonna try
I
to
think
make
he
that
would do it.
happen. He would for sure. But that's all I got, boys. You fellas got anything else to add?
What did you like about the last two games the Chiefs played? I odds that we went 1-1, but what did you like?
Well, if I mean overall, I think I got to give props to the third and fourth lines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think especially in that game against Edmonton, the fourth line were the stars of the show. Um, but fourth line, those guys have been so good all year, and really liked watching that. I think defensively, especially in that game against Edmonton, we were very good and
What do you not
competing.
like?
Lack of production from our top six.
And
I think that, and the power play too.
taking a lot of penalties
Yeah,
still.
taking a lot of bad penalties that we shouldn't be taking too.
Yeah, special teams is my biggest concern right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
specialties all around. I agree with that.
our penalty kills really struggled the last 3 or 4 games too. So that's another thing to kind of keep an eye on. But I do like seeing some hustle from those guys that on the penalty kill, blocking every shot. Coco Armstrong has been great about that so far. Him and Brody Gillespie.
You talk
Um,
about hustle. I feel like the hustle has come strictly from the defense. I feel like that's another thing that's lacking in the last maybe handful of games, maybe 3 or 4 games too, is a little bit of our speed that we had earlier in the year on offense.
yeah,
I don't feel like we're utilizing that so much anymore. I don't know. We haven't really gotten to a physical game of any kind, but we're not utilizing our speed at all either, and with the exception of that fourth line seems to do that.
yeah,
Even the top line seems to have slowed down a little bit, with the exception of Preston, who just we talked about a little bit ago, goes a little too fast for the game sometimes. But
yeah.
I feel like we're not showcasing our speed, and I feel like this is a very fast team. We saw it the first 2 weeks of the season,
Hmm.
and we was one thing we really commented on at training camp.
Yeah.
I feel like the team has gotten away from that, using that speed too.
Yeah. So it's some stuff that I'm sure they've kind of
They'll
harped
work
on the
on.
team about. We got a big test coming in tomorrow with Saskatoon.
Looking forward
So
to it.
it's going to be a great game.
Two big tests: Saskatoon and then
And then
Everett
Everett
again on
once
Saturday.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah. So some big games coming up. It's going to be fun to see how they come out tomorrow and see if they come out with a little bit more physicality and speed and hopefully try to simplify the game a little bit because I think they're gripping the sticks a little bit
a
too
little
tight
bit.
lately. So just simplify it, boys, and get her done. Let's get those points.
Get those points.
But that's
Agreed.
all I got, fellas.
That's more than I had.
Yep, I don't
T-
got much either.
Cool. TC, get back to work.
Oh, I've been working this whole time.
I'm gonna go watch some hockey because it's like a hockey orgy tonight on NHL games.
Yeah, Frozen Frenzy.
Yeah,
I'm about to go turn it on all 3 of my monitors and my TV. So,
I think the first games started at 3 o'clock our time.
yep, and they start every 15 minutes up
Yeah,
until I think 8 o'clock or
I have to say
7:30.
I think the late one is late. Yeah.
Yep. So, all right, fellas.
All
Well,
right.
till next week.
Till next week.
Go Chiefs, go.
Go Chiefs, go.